we've all been walking down the grocery store, and we turn down that one aisle, and there's that kid kicking and screaming, throwing a fit. Mother has no idea what to do. She's negotiating. She's telling him she'll give him a candy bar if he stops. And here we are, standing there judging, like, if that was my kid, I would not do that. If that was my kid, I would send him home. We would not be standing there doing that. Everyone has their opinions on how to discipline a child. Now, there's not necessarily a right and a wrong, but there are appropriate situations and appropriate disciplining for those situations. And that's what I'm going to talk about, because there's positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement. And they're completely two different things, and it's important to know when to use each one. Now, positive and negative, I've noticed from my personal experience that it's more of one-on-one and group where they work differently. So I'm going to start with positive reinforcement. And this is based off of many years of child psychology and my own personal experience of how it works. Now, positive reinforcement, you are adding, not taking away when the child doesn't listen. So for example, that kid that's kicking and screaming in the middle of the grocery store, let's say before his mom got out of the car, she said, if you act right and you behave the whole time we're shopping and you let me get my groceries done, then I will let you pick out a candy bar at the register. Now, if the kid didn't listen and he's kicking and screaming, he no longer gets that candy bar. But technically, he's not getting anything taken away. He's just not getting rewarded. Now, negative, he would get something taken away. He wouldn't have a reward, and he would throw a fit, and she'd say, okay, well, when you get home, you don't get to play with your toys. He was never given a reward, and he had something taken away. Now, positive, I think, works great in groups, because you're encouraging the kids to act right. You're encouraging, it's like follow the leader situation. So, from my personal experience, what I have noticed works great is in the classroom, and this works with 2-year-olds, so I'm sure that it could work with any age group. Now, let's say I have 12 kids, and I'm trying to get them all to sit down so we can go have recess. Now, they could all be screaming, running around the room. I could yell at those 12 kids over and over and over, go sit down, go sit down, go sit down. 10 minutes will pass, and we'll probably get them down. But they're going to be talking, they're going to be moving their chairs, because it wasn't their idea to sit down. It was mine. Now, let's say one out of those 12 kids goes and sits down. I could yell at the other 11, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, and they're not going to listen. But if I focus on the one kid that's listening, it makes a huge difference. I could have Sally sitting over here, and I say, thank you, Sally, for sitting. Look, Sally's going to get to go play outside. I love the way Sally's sitting. And one's going to sit down, then 2 are going to sit down, then 3. Then they're all sitting down saying, hey, look, I'm sitting, do I get to go play? And that works great, which is positive, because you're encouraging the one kid that's listening instead of yelling or getting onto the other ones that aren't listening over and over and over. They see, oh, look, if I do what I'm supposed to, I'm going to get rewarded and praised. And that is the key benefit to positive, is that you're giving the kids something to look forward to instead of taking it away. So next time you see a kid kicking or screaming, just think maybe if they had used positive, then the kid would thought, okay, let me not kick and scream the whole time we're in the store so I can get that candy bar. Now, the thing is, some kids do not respond to anything. They don't care. And that's when negative reinforcement comes in. It sounds bad, but it's really not. And I've noticed, from my personal experience, that works better with a one-on-one child instead of in a group. Because in a group, they're all going to think it's funny that they're all getting in trouble. They're not going to care. Negative reinforcement works better with one-on-one. So if you have a kid that's not listening, you would generally take something away or say, you don't get this. What I like to do is a lot of times kids will bring a toy to have at school, or they'll have that one blanket or something that they hold on to. So when they start acting up, I'll just say, okay, well, we're going to put this away until you're ready to act like a big boy or big girl, or until you're ready to listen. So they know, I don't want that. I'm going to listen because I don't want my toy to be taken away. It's not necessarily bad. They just know, they connect that with negative. So they think, okay, well, if I listen, then I get to keep my doll. If I don't listen, I know it's going to go away. So they try to generally be on their best behavior. So that's negative reinforcement, and that's why I feel like it works better with one-on-one, because if you have a group of kids and you say, okay, I'm going to take away all your toys, they're like, okay, well, now nobody has toys, we don't care. But if that one kid doesn't have their toy and everyone else does, they're going to think, wow, I should listen because I'm the only one without my toy. Everyone else is listening and they get their toy. Or negative could even work the way positive worked, where you focus on that one kid. You're not really calling the kid out or pointing out that they're being bad, but if you have the whole class sitting and you say, oh, I like the way so-and-so's sitting, I like the way so-and-so's sitting, thank you, and that one kid's still not responding to that, you could start saying, oh, I don't like the way you're sitting, I don't like this way, and they'll think, oh, well, I don't want you to say that, I want you to say, I like the way you're sitting, so they'll go join the group and sit. So that's important to know when to use each one. And I think that positive and negative reinforcement are needed. You can't choose one over the other. That's just my opinion, but there are appropriate situations for each appropriate response. And that's what I'm trying to do today, is inform you about which to use in which situation. So just think positive in groups, negative one-on-one. And another thing is to remember, usually start with positive. And if that doesn't work, then move to negative. But sometimes, if you already know how the child responds and how the child works, you'll know which one to use. It also depends on getting to know the child and getting to know their personality and knowing which to use. But if you don't generally know the child or know how they're going to respond to that punishment, you generally start with positive, and if you notice they're not responding to that, move towards more negative reinforcement. And there is a medium that you could use. It just depends on the person and the child. And this is great to have for a future reference. Anyone that's looking to have kids in the future, anyone that has kids in the future, I've done research. I don't have kids personally, but I've done research, and I've noticed that this would be something I would like to try when I do start a family, because it's very, it works. Like, I've tried it in classrooms, and it works very well. And you just kind of have to play with it. It's not something that you know right away. This works, this works. You just have to see how they respond and which to use. So, yes, positive and negative. Think group, positive, negative, one-on-one. And that's it.